week in politics, and it's just Thursday.
Yeah, and the host of the WGN Political Report, Paul Lisnick, is joining us now to try to break it all down. Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's start in Washington. The dilemma now, we just found out the number 2 Republican in the House, Steve Scalise, withdrawing his name. What happens as we go forward there?
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise because, of course, it was Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise. But Steve Scalise, while he got 109 votes in this process, that's not 217. And he wasn't going to get it. There were 16 to 20 holdouts that were going to be never Scalise's, so he just took himself out of the race. It really is back to square zero. It's hard to tell you. Could it be Kevin McCarthy? Sure, he might show up again. But I think if they're trying to get Democratic support, which they probably won't, but right now it seems like they need to try. They've got to pick somebody moderate. They've got to pick somebody who Democrats believe can work with them. Some Democrats think, well, it'll be Hakeem Jeffries. That's not happening. But it could be somebody who's moderate that Democrats will say, we will give you the few votes you need to get there, but you got to help us. We'll see.
Meantime, no House business can be conducted.
They can't do a thing. They can't do a thing on Israel. They can't do a thing on Ukraine. No House business until there's a speaker. One other thing they could do, they could take a vote and make the current Speaker Pro Tem, make him a Speaker Pro Tem formally, let him be Speaker for a finite period of time. Doesn't look like they're talking about that, but that is something they could do.
Why do you think Scalise dropped out?
Couldn't get the votes.
I mean, he didn't think he could probably,
He spent all day today, Micah, trying to get those votes. Yeah. He was talking to people one-on-one, and as I said, in the end, the latest count I had read was about 16 people who just said, not happening.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Israel. It's the hottest thing going right now. Politically, where does the war stand? Antony Blinken was there today. Lloyd Austin will be there tomorrow. And you heard Antony Blinken tell Netanyahu, we're staying here, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, we're not going to be sending boots on the ground. I mean, it's going to be supplying them with munitions and that kind of thing. But look, this war is going to get much uglier before it gets better. I'm not a military expert, so I don't know what they're going to do to take it. But politically speaking, that's exactly the right question. What's a little surprising to see now for me, both in the city council world, even in our state house world, is you have people like at city council, Deborah Silverstein, who's putting forward a resolution that says we need to back Israel. Yes, and that's kind of what, for me, it's a bit surprising because this is not a situation where some rockets got fired and whatever. That kind of, in the Middle East, that's almost like a Tuesday, right? When that kind of thing happens.
Talking annihilation, pretty much.
This is brutal. I mean, literally cutting off babies' heads. I don't have to tell you. You've been doing the news, and we've been seeing it all. This is absolutely brutal. And my analysis of this is that it just makes no sense to play the whataboutism game. But what about Palestine? What about this? Not now. Not at this moment. This is the moment where I think people need to say what has happened is brutal. Hamas is going to pay a price for this. And the whataboutism, but we need to deal with Palestine. We need to bring people together. Have that conversation. Have it down the line. For now, they need to stick with backing Israel and the brutality of what has been done by Hamas.
American support, obviously, for Israel. Also, concerns about what happens with the attention on what's happening between the war with Russia and Ukraine.
Well, absolutely, because, listen, Russia's watching that, China's watching this, right? Depending on how this area happens, and look, Biden has been very strong in terms of telling other countries within the region, stay out, or as he worded it, if you're thinking of getting involved, don't. So he's trying to keep this limited right now to an Israel Gaza situation with Hamas. And as I said, I mean, this may cost Netanyahu the prime ministership when all is said and done. They've got a unity government right now that will last as long as probably this war will, but there's still a political price to be paid in Israel. That's something we can talk about down the line. But for right now, there needs to be unity in terms of going after it. Look, there's hostages being held, about 150, some Americans, and Hamas knows the value of them because some people are they killing them? I don't think they're doing anything like that now. They're holding on to them because they're very strong with regard to ransom and negotiation. But it's got to be dealt with swiftly and harshly, and Hamas is going to pay a big price.
What about Hezbollah getting in, too?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is just, it's all of that. They've got to just make a shift in that area. The United States has to be careful about what we do. And again, right now, they can't get any other assistance because the House is dysfunctioning. So it's interesting. Some people can sort of look at the dysfunctional House and whatever, but now you begin to see, look at all, we're only 36 days away from our own government shutting down. So there's nothing funny about it. And by the way, Republicans have been trying to blame the Democrats because they didn't stand behind Kevin McCarthy. Well, Kevin McCarthy threatened to, well, no, he didn't threaten, starts impeachment proceedings on Biden, makes a deal with Biden for a budget that he didn't back off. Why would Democrats stick there? I'm not being partisan on that. Why would the Democrats stick with a Republican leader who backed off and is going after their leader? Politically speaking, they're just not going to do it, which is why I said if there's somebody in the middle who said somehow they can strike a deal with Democrats, maybe you get 4 4 or 5 Democrats to sign on. That's what they need.
Let's switch gears and put the focus on city politics.
Yeah.
Before you go here, Mayor Johnson released his very first city budget. Critics say not enough money for the migrant crisis, not enough money for public safety. And yet the mayor says there will be no new tax hikes.
So what the mayor did do, I mean, for those people who like the mayor's agenda and his philosophies, they got it. I mean, in his budget address on Wednesday, he was very clear. Everything, mental health clinics, and all of this, dealing with trauma rather than violence, all these things he talked about, he's doing. But he put in $50 million less in the migrant situation. He put $150 million in there. At least $200 million is needed. I think he's counting on assistance coming from some other places. I don't know that he can count on that. He's saying there's some additional revenue from other places. He says no new property taxes, but I don't see how you get through this budget. And the discussions are just starting, by the way. So it is his agenda, but how you get through this without some taxes, without some fees, maybe not property taxes, but it's hard to imagine that there's going to be cuts. One of the other things, the 1,700 police officers that are open positions, he made it pretty clear, at least in a report to the Sun-Times, he doesn't plan on filling those right now. So he's going to hire about 100 detectives, but we may not see those cops on the street. There's going to be dissension about that.
It's on your show Sunday.
Hey, so coming up Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, the First Lady of Illinois will join me. M.K. Pritzker is going to talk about the beautiful renovation and redecorating of the governor's mansion. I'm also going to be joined by Wheeler Parker Jr., Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr., and Charles Benson. They wrote a book, Mike, I'm sure you know, called A Few Days of Trouble. He's the last surviving cousin who was with Emmett Till when that horrendous murder took place in Mississippi in the 50s. He's still around. He just wrote a book about it, and he's going to spend the show talking about what he saw and what's different about maybe what history doesn't show that it needs to show.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Okay.